Recently, the Xbox Games Pass app got an update that allowed you to use the second screen on the Surface Duo as a touchscreen controller. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about this update, and towards the end, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a review on Xbox Game Pass, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about my experience with the Surface Duo. But first, I got to give you guys my disclaimer that Microsoft did not give me the Surface Duo. This phone was not given to me, it is borrowed. I know Microsoft, they did some sponsored content with influencers. Unfortunately, I am not one of those influencers that got paid to talk about Xbox Game Pass. So with that out of the way, let's talk about this update. Alright, let's get started with doing a brief recap on what is Xbox Game Pass. So it's a monthly subscription that allows you to play PC games like Halo and Gears of War. And I think there's over 100 games available. I don't know exactly how many games are available to download, but there is a lot. But what's more interesting to me is with the premium plan, you get access to cloud gaming. So that is what I'm doing right now with the Surface Duo. Once you click on play, the game will take a few seconds to load. It takes about 20 seconds to load up a game, which I wish it was a little bit faster, but I'm sure that'll get improved within time. And then when you put the app in full screen mode, you'll see the touch controls on the bottom screen. So I really love this idea, but if you use touch controls in the past, you know that it's not that great. I mean, it works, but it's still not a good experience. I just love the idea behind it, but it's not something I would actually use. I like that with certain games, the touchscreen controls change to that specific game. So for example, if it's a racing game, you see like racing controls on the bottom. If it's a platformer, instead of seeing A or X or Y, you'll see a jump button or a punch button. You can customize the touchscreen controls, but you can't do too much. You can make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, but I hope that they add more options because some of the buttons are still too small. Or if it's a button that I use a lot, I want that button to be bigger. Even though the touchscreen controls are not that great, it's still a fast way to try out a game. Maybe you want to play it for 1 level or 2 levels just to see how it is, if you want to download it to your PC or your console. Obviously, Xbox Game Pass is not going to have every single game that you want, but that's not expected. And there is something for everyone. RPGs, shooters, platformers. Now let's talk about the Surface Duo. I love the design of the Surface Duo, but as a smartphone, it's not that great. It's actually pretty awkward to use as a phone because you gotta fold it in half and then hold it up to your ear, and I'm glad I just borrowed it for a few days because I was very careful not to drop it. It feels pretty fragile. Even though it comes with a bumper, I was still pretty careful not to drop it. It's also awkward for texting because you can use the second screen as a keyboard, which is a good idea, but it still feels weird. I guess I just gotta get used to it. But the Surface Duo as a tablet is pretty awesome. Especially when you're multitasking, you can have a video on top, you can answer your emails or text someone while you're watching a video or a movie. So yeah, I love the design of Surface Duo, but everything else is a little bit weird. There's a lot of good ideas here, and I'm sure the second version is going to be better. That about does it for this video. If you guys have any questions about the Surface Duo or Xbox Game Pass, leave it in the comments below and I will try to answer you guys. And be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. My links are in the description below.